This is my biggest problem right now with these main game developers. When you charge your loyal fan base about $100 for a game, right? $100 for a game, that's what you're charging them. And then you release that game and it's constantly needing updates and patches to make it run properly. How do you think your loyal fan base feels when that happens? Not very good, right? They feel like they're being fleeced. They feel like they're being screwed. They feel like they're being used. When you also include microtransactions, when you also include loot boxes within the game, how do you think your fan base feels? When you create a game that is not primarily about enjoyment, but about grinding to death every single day in order for you to keep making progress, that becomes a chore. That takes away the passion of the game. It takes away from the gameplay, and the bloated systems and endless grinding takes away from any sort of enjoyment of your fan base. It is absolutely no wonder that a company like Ubisoft today is losing 80% of its stock value in the last 5 years. When will gaming developers realize you look after your fan base, they'll look after you. They'll stick by you. But when trust is broken or trust is eroded, you're on your own. Hobbies are essential for mental health. They're essential for mental well-being. They're essential for you being good up here. That's exactly what hobbies are for me. They're joy, they're purpose, they're stress relief. If you can think of times in your life that you faced stressful situations or went through a stressful experience, your hobby more than likely would have pulled you out the other side. It kind of creates this virtual reality, right? This virtual world that takes you away from the pain and the suffering and the reality of real life. Well, gaming was that for me, folks. Gaming was my hobby. Gaming was my passion. Gaming was my reset button. These days, I'm actually losing touch with my hobby. I'm not gaming as much these days. I feel like I'm losing my passion. When I turn on that PS5, I'm looking to pick up a game and play it, right? Now, the keyword here is pick up, okay? There's no more physical contact. And what I'm essentially doing is I'm going through my digital content of games, right? I've got a massive catalogue of digital games that I've bought, which is now a backlog. Now, I know this could be my own doing because I'm the one that purchased them on the PS Store, but still, it's the endless choices that I have available to me that is actually overwhelming. It is creating decision fatigue. And what is happening is I'm turning on the PS5 to play a game, I'm looking through the game catalogue, I'm spending 5 or 10 minutes looking at them, cannot make a decision, and I turn the bad boy off. So what's the problem of endless digital access? Well, I'll tell you the problem right now. We have so much at our fingertips. Everything is at our fingertips. At a push of a button, right? A touch of a screen. Games, media, content. And convenience is actually dulling excitement, and it's creating something that I like to call decision fatigue. Gone are the days, folks, when you went into that physical store, when you picked up that physical box, when you made the effort to go in there, when you met your friends and you went together, even better, when you saved up that hard-earned money to get a game that you have been researching for months or weeks, from buying magazines, from looking at different reviews. Gone are those days. There was a wonder, there was discovery, there was anticipation. And that's not only to do with gaming stores, that was to do with the world in general. So like I said before, you'd save up money, right? You'd pick one game and you'd play the hell out of it endlessly. You would get everything you wanted from that game and more. You would definitely get your money's worth. You wouldn't feel like you're being fleeced by the developers, because in those days, the decisions you made were more valuable, and because of the experience, were more memorable up here. Modern games these days, what do they rely on? Well, they rely on fan base, of course. They rely on making money, endless amounts of money. But actually what they're relying on is grinding and bloated systems. And I feel like this is part of the reason why I've lost my passion for my hobby. These main developers are pushing microtransactions over rewarding gameplay. It feels more like manipulation than play, right? And that's part of the reason that I feel like I've lost my connection with my passion, my hobby, gaming, because of these modern traits in the big main developers. They see you only as profit and nothing more. And that's the problem. When you buy a game such as Assassin's Creed, one of my favorite gaming franchises in history, when you buy one of these like Valhalla, it's an endless grind to the end. Trying to do all the side quests, all the side missions, trying to get that platinum trophy, trying to get everything you can in the game to get your money's worth out of it. You might love the game, but that endless grind definitely takes something away from you, and it creates a pressure as well. I feel like games that have this endless grind in them, there's nothing wrong with it. But when you include things like microtransactions, loot boxes, it definitely creates a sense of manipulation. Now, who are the main key offenders in this? Well, obviously I've just mentioned one of the franchises. It's definitely Ubisoft, and it's for sure EA Sports, right? EA Gaming. They have aggressive monetization schemes. They're charging you absolutely top-end prices for their games. And often on consoles, maybe PC as well, on release, these games are not anywhere near playable. They need patches. And they don't just need one patch, they need constant patches. So they're releasing games that are not even finished yet, suitable for play, and getting full prices off you. The focus has shifted from player experience to making money. Let's talk about Ubisoft, a company that in the past 5 years has lost almost 80% of its market value. Assassin's Creed Shadows has recently came out, and this game, there was so much potential here for them to turn things around as a company. But instead, what Ubisoft has done is probably put the final nail in their coffin. If you look at the pre-release controversy in this game, where they released footage of the samurai going to a sacred Japanese shrine, climbing the Japanese shrine, and then just absolutely destroying artifacts, precious things to Japanese culture, this is sending the wrong message. And this message went all the way to the Japanese parliament, where their prime minister released a statement basically saying that this is completely and utterly unacceptable. Well, what happened next? Well, a huge media backlash. I'm sure you've seen it all happen in front of your eyes. There was a day one patch released in the game to prevent you from climbing these shrines and prevent you from vandalizing all of these artifacts. This felt more like damage control than them actually respecting Japanese culture. Now, present in games from Ubisoft, such as Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Valhalla, you have the microtransaction model. Let's talk about that a little bit more. This includes XP boosts, and what it's set up to do is basically give you time savers. It takes you away from the grind design. Now, that's a key word here, folks, design. The game is designed to be grinded. So what does this mean? Well, it basically means is that the grind is intentional, and also the push towards the microtransactions and the loot boxes is intentional too. Ubisoft obviously claims that these are optional, and they definitely are, because I've never chosen to do it, and I've tried to grind it from A to Z the whole way to the end of the game, which I did in Valhalla. Ubisoft saying that these are optional is of course covering their backs, but trust from their loyal gaming fans is eroding fast, as shown by stock prices. So final reflection here, gaming joy isn't gone entirely, but it's definitely harder to find these days. The overwhelming amount of choices, the exploitative gaming designs, the microtransactions, the loot boxes, the profit over anything has definitely taken its toll on me. But it's time to try and reclaim the fun that I once had when I played games. Try and get back to the younger me, the me that really picked up the game and enjoyed it for what it was. The way that I will try to do this is to have fun, to have fulfillment, and have that sense of freedom. Because when you have that hobby and that passion that is massive in your life that helps you get away from the current stresses of reality, it is absolutely crucial for your mental well-being up here.